Hey, parents, welcome back. We are in the thick of it with the school year already. In parenting, there are seasons of family life, right? And one of those seasons is back to school time. And it is real over here at the Langdons. We've had all kinds of different school scenarios, particularly for the last 3 years, we've exclusively homeschooled. And this year, our kiddos are going back to private schools. So we're very excited about it. But man, it's going to be quite the transition. So I have some special feelings for you parents who do this on the regular. And you kind of have this long summer, and then all of a sudden it's time to get back to business. So, as I've been reading books about, you know, parenting and the best care of our children and just really how to raise happy kids who are successful and joyful, it comes down to one thing: our relationship with them, our ability to attach or attune to our kids and really nurture the relationship. So, this is good news. It's not about the best trapper keeper. It's not about having the perfect morning routine. And it's certainly not all about, the latest parenting hack that you found on Instagram. What it is about is making those windows of influence that we have over our children really count. So, I wanted to pop on the mic and just record a short episode because I know y'all are busy. When you got kids going to school, or you're even homeschooling and getting your classroom ready at home, or you've got, people going here and there, you need just a little bit of time to get some really good advice. And so that's what I'm going to give you today. So, first, I want to start out with a message that I've shared before in episode 62, and that is about those 9 critical minutes of your child's day. So, when we think about a typical school day, I want you to think about 9 minutes divided up in 3 different time periods over the day. And the first 3 most important minutes of your child's day is right when they wake up. Man, it can make such a difference the way we greet our children when we wake them up. First of all, how are they waking up? Are we waking them up? Are they waking up to an alarm clock on their own? Or, is it some combination in between? Oh no, they didn't set their alarm. And so now I'm rushing in and hurrying them out of bed and getting them on to the next task before they've even had a chance to get their brain online. Those first 3 minutes of the day are crucial. So, however you set it up, whether they're waking up on their own or you're waking them up, it's really important for you to have a positive connection with your child, to say good morning, to say, "Did you have a good sleep? Oh, I'm so happy to see you. I love you," right? Those sweet, special words that we would like to hear when we wake up, instead of, "Get your shoes on. Okay, hurry up. You're not even out of bed yet." Right? That makes such a difference if we can connect with our kids in the first few waking minutes of their day. Then the second 3 minutes that are super important are when you pick your kid up from school, after school. Now, why is this? Well, because that's the longest waking period of time your child has been away from you. So they have unattached from you after getting out of the car in the morning. They have, gotten into their classroom and gotten things settled and had a lot of instruction all day and been outside and playing with their friends and all the things. And then when you pick them up, it's kind of like that wake up time. They need that attentive connection from you, their parent, their caregiver. So when they get in your car, make sure you're not on the phone. Make sure you don't have a podcast blasting where you can't hear them, they can't hear you, and they notice that you're distracted. Parents, Kids really want to connect with us. And if they don't get the connection when they get in the car, they're going to settle for attention. So, what does this mean? Whining, right? It means that they're going to be nagging at their brother and sister in the car. So, a good way to make sure that that first 3 to 5 minutes when you pick them up after school is a pleasant one for everyone is just to be, technology free, give them your full attention and connect with them. Hey, buddy, it's so good to see you. I missed you from school today. Okay. Those sweet little gestures just light them up, and then allow them to talk to you about their day in the car as they wish, right? One of the things I think we do is pepper our kids with questions at the end of their school day. How do you like it when you get home from work and people are just like, what did you do at work? Did you get that client? Did you, make the sale? Da, da, da. It's like, man, I just spent 8 hours doing that. Right? So it's okay if they want to look out the window on the car ride home, or they're just exhausted. They lay their head down on their backpack in the ride home and, just sit quietly. That's okay. But we want to make sure that we connect when we see them with our words. Also, putting a hand on their shoulder, grabbing their little hand and giving them a little squeeze of their hand or a kiss on their cheek. It's a sweet way to connect. And I want you to remember, all of us want connection. But if we don't get that, we settle for attention because we crave something from our primary people, especially the people we love and that we live with. Okay. And then the last 3 minutes of the day that are so important are the last 3 minutes before they go to sleep at night, right? You're tucking them into bed. That's their final experience with you before they drift off to sleep. So it's important that as parents, we make sure that we are emotionally available. I tell a story all the time about how when my kids were little and they were all in school, I would be so exhausted at the end of the day that I would just be barking out orders to them the minute I walked in the door and all the way until we went to bed at night. It was just, calling out to him from another room, have you brushed your teeth yet? And, do you have your homework ready to go for school? Not connecting with them in the physical sense where I walked over to them, maybe put my hand on their shoulder, looked them in the eye, got down on their level, and just said, hey, buddy, your teeth, remember? What do we do before we go to bed? Right? That goes so much better than when we're yelling at them from another room and they do not have a visual connection of us, and they certainly don't feel connected to us when we are just barking out orders instead of helping them to understand what they need to do to get themselves ready for bed. But that last 3 minutes, so important to just affirm our kids. Right? So we talk about blessing our children and how, as parents, as primary educators of our children in faith and morals, that it is our duty and our obligation to bless our kids, to remind them what a gift they are, to remind them how special they are and how it's a gift for us to be chosen as their parents. This connects them to us. This is part of that attunement when we are connecting with them and reminding them that they are worthy, they are loved, they have a safe place in this home that they live in. So I want you to think about that above and beyond all the other things you think about during the school year when you're running kids back and forth to school and you got all the activities in the evenings. I want you to think about prioritizing those 9 minutes, those windows of influence where, your kids need you to be present, to connect to them, and to really affirm them in those times. So 3 minutes when they wake up, 3 minutes when you pick them up after school or after their school program at the end of the day, and then the last 3 minutes should be sweet and tucking them into bed with just a sweetness and an exchange that is kind. Now, I'm going to say something about the bedtime. You're exhausted. You're running on fumes. It's probably been a rat race trying to get all the kids in bed, right? But if you get to that moment where you're tucking them in and it's been hairy, it has not been easy, I want you to give yourself permission to just do a full on apology. Do you know how far an apology goes with a child? Oh my, they want to instantly forgive us. They've often forgiven us before we've even finished our apology, especially if they know that it's sincere. It's okay to say, you know what, buddy? I just did a rotten job at being kind to you in the car today. I'm sorry for raising my voice and being in such a hurry. I realize that that was probably upsetting to you, and I hope that you can forgive me. Guys, this goes a long, long way. And when we apologize, it always also reminds us we're going to try to do better tomorrow night at bedtime, right? And when we use words to apologize to our kids, we're giving them permission to use those words on us or on their siblings as well. And we're inadvertently telling them and teaching them that it's okay for them to use those words on themselves, to forgive themselves when they've had a temper tantrum or a meltdown, or they did something that was upsetting to their sibling or a student at school, right? That we can end our day by acknowledging our faults and asking for forgiveness, saying we're sorry. I've had a lot of people in coaching and counseling who have said, but I kind of feel like when I apologize to my kids, they sort of like lose respect for me, or they like I lose my place of authority. And I say, oh, that is the opposite. Our kids grow so much closer to us when they hear us apologize in a genuine way, because they want to be in good graces with us, right? They want to be in a place where they are connected with us and they feel like we are on the same plane in terms of our love for one another. So to wipe the slate clean at the end of the day and just apologize for the missteps throughout the day and be specific about those, wow, the respect they have for you just ends up soaring, because they really understand that you are trying to do better. This motivates them to try and do better too. So I just wanted to let you know about those 9 minutes. I feel like there's so many little hacks and tricks and tips that we're looking for, the best morning routine checklist, and the best place to hang the backpack, and blah blah blah. You know how it is, trying to get organized for the school year or make school go smoothly. But really keep in mind the relationship is so much more important than the little tiny behaviors we can get hung up on and frustrated by, and choose that as the hill we're going to die on. But I want to encourage you to just be thoughtful about the school year in the windows of time that you have to influence your kids, to make those count. So there's a few other best practices for kind of a smooth transition back to school. Um, One of the things that I like to do is just to think back to the prior year and just go like, what worked for us last year when it comes to the school season? What was our morning routine like? What time did we get up? And what time did we kind of set out to get out the door, right? Remembering and thinking about what works best for your family, given your commute, given the time the bell rings, whenever you have to leave for work, but considering your routine. So, your morning routine, right? What was best for us? And what were some of the things that didn't work so well? And then I like to think about food, because in family life, hello, is somebody always in the pantry or has the fridge hanging wide open? Right before I recorded this podcast, that was happening at my house. You know, they're digging around for snacks and food and thinking about the next meal. Well, in the school year, it's so helpful to do a little bit of meal planning, right? Little meal planning on Saturday or even Sunday, during a family huddle where you're getting together and talking about the week ahead and what's happening and who's going where, really taking some time, 5, 10 minutes to just go, guys, let's just sketch out some dinners for the week. What's your vote? What are we going to have on Monday? Right? Tuesday. Maybe you do Taco Tuesday. It's easy to remember. You can make the taco meat ahead, right? What about Wednesday? Maybe Wednesday is chronic leftovers night, right? It's just like every Wednesday we're eating leftovers. Okay, but planning in advance and just putting that outside of your mind onto a piece of paper on your fridge or on your dry erase calendar or even in your Google Calendar. Write down what you're going to have for dinner just for a week at a time. You don't have to figure out the whole month, but man, that makes evenings so much more pleasant when everyone knows what to expect and you're not hurrying around to find a morsel of food to put together or just ordering pizza because you're running behind. Meals are important. Also snacks, right? You got to stock the cupboards and the fridge with some healthy snacks, some high protein cheeses and meats, and maybe some crackers and some healthy snacks that are going to sustain your kids while they're in their car on the way home from school or when they get home between school time and dinner. But offering healthy snacks. We have several episodes on the Families of Character Show podcast about healthy eating for families. Dietitian Tracy Mann. We just had Sarah Paxton on our show to talk about self-care and eating well and eating whole foods and offering those foods to your kids. And then we had a stellar episode with Katie Kimball of kidscookrealfood.com, and she talked about picky eaters and this crazy sports snacks that they're handing out on the field and how to make healthier choices for our kids when it comes to food. So we've got a library of resources right here in this very podcast for you regarding healthy foods and how to transition away from some of those burnout sugary snacks to some more high protein, healthy whole food snacks. So maybe making a list of, 3 to 5 things your kids would eat that would be healthier than, the cupcakes that are dressed up like muffins and want to confuse us and make us think that they're healthy. So food is a big one, right? And then I think about the evening routine. What evening routine works best for your family? I think all the way down to things like, do we want our kids to shower at night or do they do better when they get a shower in the morning? But just coming to mind with some of those simple things and just kind of setting the stage for your kids and saying, hey, everybody's going to take a bath at night, or you're at night, you're in the morning. Let's stick to it and see how that goes for a couple weeks. Talking about these things in advance and preparing our kids for what is expected for them goes a long way. Getting to that day, barking out orders when the kid doesn't even know what day of the week it is, it's just a recipe for disaster. So I really want to encourage you to kind of huddle up, not just on Sundays to talk about the week ahead and go through every day of the week and just kind of make sure that everybody has a lay of the land and that they can see your family calendar on the fridge or on, a dry erase board or whatever, but also just a quick huddle in the morning. Hey guys, it's Monday. Here's what we have going on. Or better yet, ask them, what do we have going on today? Are you packing your lunch or do you have school lunch? Great. That gets them in the rhythm of thinking through things instead of us doing everything for them. And it helps them feel a sense of ease instead of that overwhelm where they're trying to keep it all up in their head and remember what we told them days ago about this special Monday or this Friday thing. Okay. So that's another helpful tip, is just to, think about showering, right? We got food, we have meals and snacks, and then we have like, these are basic, daily living skills, is showering. Are you going to shower at night, shower in the morning, right? Bedtime. What time are we going to bed? What is lights out time? Let's set it and forget it. Let's just pick a time and go with that. Now, if you're listening and thinking, my spouse is like the worst at bedtime because, she wants to stay up with the kids later because they're out with the neighbors at night, or, it's still light out and they want to go on a extra long walk. You guys have to have an agreement as parents who are a united team that listen, is this the best for our kids? Would it be more helpful for us to both encourage a reasonable bedtime and instill that bedtime and test it out over time, right? I would rather have you go, okay, let's do 8:30. Let's compromise on an 8:30 bedtime. And you try that for 2 weeks without doing anything different. And then if everybody seems rested in the morning and they're ready to go and you felt like everybody was, uh, working together as a team to get out the door on time, and there wasn't a lot of yelling and nagging, keep it up. But if you go, whoa, something is off. This doesn't seem right, or so and so isn't getting enough sleep. They're really crabby in the morning. Then adjust the bedtime, but support each other in that. As parents, I think we often forget that like we have a partner in parenting. If you're a married person with children, you want your partner there to support you, even if they're not there physically. Maybe they're working, they're flying, or they're, traveling for work or whatever. It's good to have them just say to your kids, hey guys, mom said 8 o'clock, you need to be in bed by 8 o'clock. We agree on this. This is important. And they see that as a united front. Same mom. If dad's saying, man, let's get everybody in bed on time, you do everything that you can to support him in making sure that that bedtime routine happens. Kids love boundaries. They love to know what's expected of them. There was this research study that showed that schools that don't have fencing around the playground, the kids, when they go out to play, often play very close to the building. But the kids who go to school with a playground that has a fence on it, they play right up to the fence, right up to the edge. They're more free to play in those boundaries. Within those boundaries, they feel safe. And so that's the same thing when it comes to bedtime. You know, this myth about like, oh yeah, well, we get to bed when we can and blah blah blah. That does not work for kids. That throws off their system. They love to know what time things are happening and what time they're supposed to do what you want them to do. And then we help them to follow through and be consistent with them, modeling that that's, what we're doing as well. Of course, there's going to be some nights where there's an extra late basketball game, or, grandma's in town and you stayed up a little late for dessert or something like that. But kids thrive with routine, with a structured morning routine and a structured evening routine and predictability, knowing what to expect. So when you're thinking about school time and all of this, I want you to really consider just those routines and what has worked for you in the past, and even have a discussion with your spouse about like what doesn't work, right? Because if we can identify what doesn't work, we can find a replacement routine or behavior for that. Super, super important. There's some other ways that you can really help make the school year a joyful one too. When you think about that 15 or 20 minutes of reading time your kid's going to be required to do, think about doing that together as a family. There's nothing wrong with that. Take the book the child is assigned to read and read it together aloud. This is such great bonding for families. The homeschool community is all about read alouds, and it's just such a great way to build bonds, to talk about the book, to see what people are hearing. Kids will get up and act out parts, which is so much more valuable than just kind of like sitting and skimming in the dark, like they do sometimes in their bed when they're reading at night. So consider being available to your kids for some of those read aloud moments. And you kill three birds with one stone if you have all kids in the room and you're doing a read aloud. So don't feel guilty about that. That's just working smarter, not harder. That's all I got for you. I want to wish you a great school year. And if you're listening to this and it's in the middle of the school year, guess what? We always have a chance to start fresh and to try something new and get it going in our families, for a few weeks before we decide to pull the plug on that plan. So, I want you to really consider these 9 minutes, which are great windows of influence that you have a chance to connect and to attune with your child every day so that they have a brighter start and a beautiful ending to each and every day. I guarantee you the same will be true for you. So, for more resources, check out our website. We have so many resources on our website. I don't know if you know this, but at familiesofcharacter.com, we have a search feature. It's up in the right hand corner of our website, and you can put in any word that comes to your mind that you're thinking of, like a Google search, and we'll pull up a blog article for you or a podcast episode on that very topic. And you can kind of drill down on whatever topic you're wanting to learn more about and find it right there on our website. We also have a shop online where you can purchase digital products, download them, print them right away. Morning routine charts, this awesome 5-star days family pack that has a morning and evening routine for adults, for you, mom and dad, and then also a morning and evening routine for your kids. So you can print them off, put them in a little dry erase, um, you know, sheet protector and give them a marker, and you all can work on the before and after school routines to make things a little smoother. We've got kids' journals. We've got all kinds of great products that will help you. But I really want to emphasize our family huddle. That's what we're all about. That one time you get together as a team and huddle up on Sundays to look at the calendar, to discuss it together, to work as a team to figure out how to help each other, move smoothly through your week, and then to connect as a family and like pile your hands in together and go 1, 2, 3, Team Langdon. At the end of a Sunday, when you're going into the week, this is a game changer. So please don't wait for another episode of the show to hear another word about the family huddle. If you're not already doing one, or you haven't gone through our Thriving Family Accelerator, where you have been personally coached by myself to get this going in your household, just don't wait. Go to our website, download the free huddle guide. It's right on our main page, and that will get you started today. Parents, I wish you a wonderful school season. And remember, I truly am always in your corner. I'll catch you on another episode of our show real soon. Take care.